What's up everyone, Wandimagen here, and welcome back to the workshop. Today, we're diving deep into the world of smart home domination, specifically how to bend those pesky three-way switches to your will. Yeah, you heard me right. We're talking about controlling your lights from anywhere in the world, whether you're chilling on the couch or trekking across the Serengeti. Over the next few minutes, we'll be exploring 3 different methods to achieve three-way switch nirvana, each with its pros and cons. We'll be getting our hands dirty with some hardware, maybe write a little code, and of course we'll be pushing the limits of home automation. So grab your screwdrivers, fire up your soldering irons, and let's get this party started. Before we start hacking and slashing our way to smart home glory, let's take a moment to understand the enemy, the traditional three-way switch setup. Now on the surface it seems pretty straightforward, right? 2 switches, 1 light. But under the hood, things get a little more interesting. See, unlike your standard single-pole switch that just opens and closes a circuit, three-way switches use a pair of traveler wires to, well, travel the circuit between the 2 switches. When you flip one switch, you're essentially changing which traveler wire is carrying the hot or live current. The other switch then receives that hot wire and decides whether or not to send it on to the light fixture. It's a clever little dance, but it's also hopelessly stuck in the analog age. By understanding how this traveler wire system works, we can leverage it to introduce some seriously cool smart home functionality. To make things a little easier, let's visualize the typical three-way switch wiring. You've got your power source coming into your electrical box, usually a black, hot wire. This hot wire connects to the common terminal on your first switch. Now, here's where the traveler wires come in. They connect to the remaining 2 terminals on the first switch and then run over to your second switch. On the second switch, the traveler wires connect to the 2 traveler terminals just like before. Finally, the common terminal on the second switch connects to the wire that runs to your light fixture, which is typically also a black wire. When we start introducing smart switches and relays into the mix, we need to know exactly where each wire goes. But don't worry, I'll walk you through every step of the way, ensuring you don't accidentally turn your house into a giant Tesla coil. Alright, let's kick things off with the most straightforward and user-friendly method for achieving three-way smart switch bliss, replacing your old dumb switches with shiny new smart ones. Now, there are a ton of different smart switches on the market these days, each with its own set of features and quirks. For this demonstration, we'll be using the Casa HS210 from TP-Link. It's a reliable, affordable option that plays nicely with most smart home ecosystems, and it doesn't require a separate hub, which is always a bonus. Before we dive into the installation, let's talk safety, folks. We're dealing with electricity here, and it's not something to be messed around with. So, before you even think about touching those wires, make sure you've turned off the power to the circuit at the breaker box. And just to be extra safe, use a non-contact voltage tester to double-check that there's no juice flowing through those wires. Okay, safety lecture over, let's get down to business. The first step is to remove your old three-way switch. Now before you disconnect any wires, it's crucial to label them. Trust me, this will save you a world of headaches later on. The most important wire to identify is the line wire, which is the hot wire coming from your breaker box. This is usually a black wire, but it could be a different color depending on how your house is wired. Once you've found the line wire, label it line or hot. Next, locate the load wire, which is the wire that runs to your light fixture. This is also typically a black wire. Label this wire load or light. Finally, you have your 2 traveler wires. As we discussed earlier, these are the wires that run between your 2 three-way switches. Label these wires Traveler 1 and Traveler 2. With all your wires labeled, you can now safely disconnect them from your old switch. Once the wires are free, carefully remove the old switch from the electrical box. Now it's time to introduce our new friend, the Casa HS210 Smart Switch. Take a moment to familiarize yourself with the wiring diagram on the back of the switch. You'll notice it has terminals for line, load, Traveler 1 and Traveler 2, just like our labeled wires. Start by connecting the line wire to the line terminal on the smart switch. Make sure you use a wire connector to secure the connection and prevent any stray strands from causing a short. Next, connect the load wire to the load terminal on the smart switch. Again, use a wire connector to secure the connection. Now connect your 2 traveler wires to the corresponding traveler terminals on the smart switch. If your old switch had a ground wire, connect it to the green grounding screw on the smart switch. If not, don't worry, as long as your electrical box is properly grounded. With all the wires connected, Carefully tuck them back into the electrical box and secure the smart switch using the provided screws. Now, head over to your second three-way switch location and repeat the same process. Remove the old switch, label the wires, and install the second Casa HS210 smart switch. Once both smart switches are installed, it's time to bring them to life. Head back to your breaker box and carefully turn the power back on to the circuit. Your new smart switches should power up, and you'll likely see a blinking light indicating they're ready for setup. Now grab your smartphone or tablet and download the Casa Smart app. Follow the on-screen instructions to connect your smart switches to your home Wi-Fi network. Once the switches are connected, you can customize their names, set up schedules, and even create scenes to control multiple lights with a single tap. Alright, for those of you who like to dig a little deeper and crave ultimate customization, this next method is for you. We're going to explore two different approaches, using IFTTT, a powerful web-based automation service, and building our own custom solution with a Raspberry Pi and a relay module. Let's start with IFTTT, which stands for If This Then That. It's essentially a free online platform that allows you to connect different apps and devices to create automated workflows called applets. In our case, we'll be using IFTTT to trigger our Casa smart switches based on specific events such as our location or the time of day. To get started, head over to IFTTT.com and create a free account. Once you're logged in, click on Create and select Applet. For the If This part of our applet, we'll use the location trigger. This allows us to trigger an action based on our smartphone's GPS location. Select your desired location trigger, such as you enter an area or you exit an area. For the area, you can specify a radius around your home address. Now, for the then, that part of our applet, we'll use the Casa Smart action. This allows us to control our Casa Smart switches directly from IFTTT. Select the turn on or turn off action, depending on your preference, and choose the specific Casa Smart switch you want to control. Give your applet a descriptive name, such as turn on living room lights when I arrive home, and click Finish. And that's it. Now, whenever your smartphone enters the specified area around your home, IFTTT will automatically trigger the applet and turn on your living room lights. But what if you want even more control over your smart switches? What if you want to trigger them based on custom events or integrate them with other smart home devices that IFTTT doesn't natively support? That's where the Raspberry Pi comes in. The Raspberry Pi is a tiny credit card-sized computer that's perfect for DIY electronics projects. And when paired with a relay module, it becomes a powerful tool for controlling high-voltage devices like lights and appliances. For this project, we'll be using a Raspberry Pi 4 Model B, a 4-channel relay module, and a handful of jumper wires. The relay module allows us to control the flow of electricity to our light fixture using low-voltage signals from the Raspberry Pi. First, we'll need to connect the relay module to the Raspberry Pi's GPIO pins. The exact wiring will depend on the specific relay module you're using, so be sure to consult the manufacturer's documentation. Once the relay module is wired up, we'll need to install the necessary software on our Raspberry Pi. We'll be using Python, a popular programming language, to control the GPIO pins and the relay module. With the software installed, we can now write a simple Python script to control our lights. The script will listen for commands from a web API and trigger the relay module accordingly. So there you have it, folks. 3 awesome methods to conquer your three-way switches and bring the magic of smart home automation to your fingertips. Whether you prefer the simplicity of smart switches, the power of IFTTT, or the ultimate flexibility of a Raspberry Pi, there's a solution out there for everyone. Now, I'm dying to know which method you're most excited to try. Are you Team Smart Switch, Team IFTTT, or Team Raspberry Pi? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you found it helpful, and subscribe to the channel for more awesome tech tips and tricks. Until next time, stay curious and keep on tinkering. So which method's your winner? Smart switches for simplicity, IFTTT for automation, or the relay setup for full control? Let me know below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, smash that like button and subscribe for more tech